Hey everybody, still here for the Daily Market Pulse for Thursday, April 17th. So we finished this mixed on the final day of the week. Turns out tomorrow, Friday, is a holiday. Markets are going to be closed because of Easter weekend. So with that said, higher volumes. Usually we have lower volume, but we had to end up with higher volumes going into a long weekend. It'll be very interesting to see what happens going forward now. Let's take a look at the charts. So there we have the Dow. Yep, that's the Dow. Let me update that though. However, there we go. That's the updated version. So there is your slight drop. Profit taking today, essentially a spinning top. A little confusion, a little indecision, a little profit taking above a flat 20, rising 8, rising 50 below. So we'll see what they do with this going, of course, into next week. It's almost overbought as well. We'll see if they can get it all the way back towards 16.6 or not. Okay, with the S&P, you can't see it, but it did close up at 1869, so slightly higher on a grind near the high of the day. Didn't go much further, however, than that. That's about all it looks and it did its job. If I take you to SPY, that's essentially what you look like. It looks like that right there. So going back to the S&P, you're missing the candle. If I take you to a 15-minute chart, you'll see it there. You'll see the grind today higher, and then it's a little bit of a fade, a slight upper shadow. So that's fine. Green for the day, Dow red for the day, but ever so slight on both sides. Let's look at the Nasdaq now. Same issue with the Dow or the Nasdaq. Pardon me. It went up to about 441.10 and closed at 40.95. So it's slightly higher as well here on the Nasdaq as we saw in the S&P. Dow Jones slightly lower. The grind going to the weekend. High volume, virtually no price action. Now it's not near a top, mind you, but usually it creates questions as to what that's going to mean going into Monday. We'll see what that does. TSX on the other hand, it remains at resistance. Same thing. That's pretty much what the S&P and the Nasdaq look like. Just a little candle right next to yesterday's larger candle. So not much going on going into a long weekend at all. Looking at the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, it same thing, sideways below moving averages, 20 and the 50, and holding above 110 for the time being. Treasuries sold off pretty aggressively, bearish engulfing here right after when it hit the 135 target area. Back toward 134, which was the expected support on the way back down, so it's back to retest that for the time being. If they go any lower, then you might be looking at the 50-day moving average right at about 133. So that's possible, but looking for support here first to come back toward 135 and go higher. That would mean the markets go lower. If this goes lower, then we're looking at the markets going slightly higher. Here's the Japanese yen coming off the top trend line and channel line near 98.50, holding at the moving averages for now. They could go lower. Obviously, that'd be the bottom of the channel. Otherwise, if they can hold here, they go back to looking for a breakout above 98.50, as mentioned before. We saw gold selling off yesterday into the 1280 area. It didn't quite get there. It held reasonably well today with a small high wave candle, essentially today, neutral after some profit taking, holding above the 200-day moving average for now. Still looking for this to hold and go higher, perhaps. Crude, on the other hand, it came into its 105 area, 104.50 particularly, and it got rejected yesterday, held reasonably well today above the 8 moving average, above 103, but also, of course, below 104, 104.50 in particular. Looking for this just to consolidate here and then looking for an ultimate move back up through 105. Targets at 108, 110. If they break below 103, then of course it could come all the way back down toward 101. Let's go to small caps. The IWM ETF proxy down to the bottom of its intermediate channel in the long-term channel, 200-day moving average, plenty of support through here. That's why the bounce, and room then to 114 initially, then 116 perhaps as high as that. And when you look at the VIX, with the markets grinding higher, the treasuries dropping, then the VIX is likely to drop, and there it is. It's dropped back into, is that yesterday's or today's? That is yesterday's. So today's actually dropped even further in toward 13. So I don't know if it's going to pop up here momentarily or not, but let's see. I'll just refresh real quick and see if it comes up or not. It has not yet. So anyway, down into 13 area. In fact, I'll take you to a 15-minute chart. There it is. Steady decline, as you can see, with the possibility of a bottoming formation starting. It almost looks like it's starting to taper off and start to form the very, very bottom of a cup or a rounded bottom formation. So it's right at 13, as you can see. So 13 it is, down to the bottom here. So it's holding there for now where former support has always been. And we'll see if the VIX actually supports and holds, meaning the markets could then grind higher if it holds here. Or, of course, phase if the fear levels increase substantially to go back toward 14, 15, 16. All right, with that, enjoy the long weekend.